my dreams is to become a published author one day. Hands down, there's nothing like the written word. During my adult years, I used to collect and read books, especially literary works by African American authors. Reading Black authors cultivated my desire to see the Black experience reflected in the written word. And in the same way that I sought out Black-directed films and television, I sought out authors whose experience reflected my life or the lives of my ancestors. Before smartphones and tablets, the best way a person could spend their solo work lunches or their commute is to get lost in a wonderfully page-turning book. Page turners. Black authors, especially Black women authors, have definitely created a voice in the written word, novels. If you think Black women haven't made their mark in novels, it's time to turn the page and meet 3 authors who have greatly impacted the literary fiction world and beyond. From historical to science fiction to Christian romance, these 3 authors show the range of worlds created by Black female authors. As Interludes concludes its celebration of Women's History Month, we want to call attention to these 3 exemplary writers: Toni Morrison, Octavia Butler, and Victoria Christopher Murray. Right now, each writer is undergoing a renaissance, gaining new fans and loyal readers, one of which could be you after this episode. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and this is Interludes.
Interludes, a Peer Lighthouse production. This episode is brought to you by
Interludes Extra presents Find Your Voice on Patreon. Become a friend, a fan, and join our VIP podcasting community today.
And now, all the way from the south side of Chicago, give it up for your host, Val the Voice Johnson.
And I've spent my entire writing life trying to make sure that the white gaze was not the dominant one in any of my books. And the people who helped me most arrive at that kind of language were African writers.
I remember meeting Toni Morrison back in the 90s as she promoted her latest book at that time, Paradise. Fans like myself traveled to downtown Chicago to the newly constructed Harold Washington Library to meet and greet the literary legend in person. Morrison read from Paradise and fielded questions from the large crowd. When asked about the book, questions arose more around her recent appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, which taped in Chicago at that time. The book Paradise became Oprah Winfrey's book club selection, and her appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show sparked more interest in Morrison's previous works as well as the current one. When she signed my newly purchased book, I smiled and walked away knowing that I got a chance to experience Morrison's brilliance in person. I told Toni about studying her earlier work, Beloved, in college, and jokingly stated how reading her book caused a brain aneurysm in writing the review for my college professor. Morrison, an accomplished professor at the time, asked just before I walked away, "What grade did you get?" Shocked at her question, I turned around and stated, "I got a B+." Morrison laughed and said, "At least the brain aneurysm was well worth it." Born Chloe Anthony Wolford Morrison, Toni self-published her first novel, The Bluest Eye, 1 year before I showed up in 1970. As she began to write and publish novels, she gained many awards on the national level and most notably became the first Black woman to win a Nobel Prize for Literature in 1993. When I look over my collection of books, Morrison's titles from various eras are all there. In 2012, President Obama presented Morrison with the Medal of Freedom, and the book Beloved was adapted into a feature film that reunited award-winning actors Danny Glover and Oprah Winfrey, they both starred in The Color Purple, Thandie Newton, and Kimberly Elise. If you haven't read a book by Morrison, do yourself a favor and read the wonderful legacy of works Morrison has left behind. Earlier this month, the United States Postal Service presented a stamp in Toni Morrison's likeness at Princeton University. The Toni Morrison Society is dedicated to keeping the memory of Morrison alive while celebrating and uplifting new literary unique voices in our time. To learn more about Toni Morrison, her books, and the latest ways her memory is being honored, please visit the website ToniMorrisonSociety.org.
How did you first start writing science fiction? How did you first become attracted to that type of writing?
Oh, I think I loved it because, I fell into writing it because I saw a bad movie, a movie called Devil Girl from Mars, and went into competition with it. But I think I stayed with it because it was so wide open. It gave me the chance to comment on every aspect of humanity. People tend to think of science fiction as, Star Wars or Star Trek. And the truth is, there are no closed doors and there are no required formulas. You can go anywhere with it.
From historical fiction to science fiction, our next author became a pioneer and powerful voice in the science fiction genre. Octavia Estelle Butler, born in Pasadena, California, developed a love for the written word early in life, as she once asked her mother for a typewriter to create her own stories. Right around the time Toni Morrison published her first novel, Butler started her career by writing short stories for anthologies. In her freshman year in college, she won a short story contest, participated in writing workshops at UCLA and Cal State University, and in the mid to late 70s, Butler published her first novel as a part of a series she started in 1974 called Patternmaster, a sci-fi series that dealt with race and class. One of Butler's most famous works, written in 1979, was the book called Kindred. It was one of the first books I ever read from her and thought about all the visuals I felt from this novel. Recently, her award-winning novel Kindred became a FX series and premiered at the end of 2022. According to Time magazine, Kindred is the first series of its kind in a modern reimagining of Butler's work. For Butler fans, there are other adaptations of her works coming to the screen as well. Parable of the Sower and Wild Seed are both in development with Oscar winner Viola Davis and husband Julius Tendon. Also, Brandon Jacob Jenkins, an award-winning writer and showrunner for Kindred, is working with HBO to develop Butler's work, Fledging. In 2000, a mere 14 years after her passing, Octavia Butler became posthumously a best-selling author due to the reemergence of science fiction and interest in alternative universes. If you're curious like I know I am, to learn more about Octavia Butler and the latest regarding her literary works and beyond, please visit OctaviaButler.com.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Have you seen it? It's the weekly chat with EP Michael Womble, Coach Tony Thompson, and host Val the Voice Johnson. Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. Join us and other special guests as we break down the latest topics surrounding music, movies, and sports every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, live in our chat on our Interludes YouTube channel, Facebook group, and now on Pod TV on Roku.
I wanted to be a writer my entire life, since I was a little girl. And I knew that was my purpose. My purpose was to write books. And as I got older, I learned the kinds of books I was supposed to write. And so I know that what I have is a gift from God. And this is a gift that I focus on.
Is there a such genre as Christian romance? Why, yes. And I discovered the genre and found myself most attracted to the literary works written by award-winning author Victoria Christopher Murray. I have to say, I was drawn to her name, and when I read her first self-published book, Temptation, I remember telling all of my church friends from the choir and singles group, I would say, "Hey girl, I found a romance novelist who writes for us hopeless romantic Christian girls." Murray, a Queens, New York native, studied communication disorders at Hampton University and received an MBA from my alma mater, NYU. Much of her business savvy went into gaining the attention of Time Warner as she published 6 more titles past Temptation under Time Warner and then found a home with publishing home Simon & Schuster. I remember seeing her novels as mini movies in my head, wondering if anyone would adapt her well-known characters like Kyler Blake or Jasmine. When I look at all of the books I've purchased from Murray, there's got to be 15 or more stacked over here in the corner, and think about how her novels got me through my transition from Chicago to New York, commuting from 9 to 5s, I'm amazed at how much Murray has accomplished since I entered her temptation world back in 1997. She's the winner of the NAACP Image Award for Literary Fiction, a Phyllis Wheatley Trailblazer Award winner, and with over 1 million books in print, Murray has become one of the country's top African American contemporary authors, and her popularity with her works are now being seen on the small screen. Murray started a series based on the biblical 7 deadly sins and created a book for each sin. Essence Magazine's book editor, Patrick Henry Bass, connected Murray with actress and producer Sean Robinson, and Sean brokered a deal with renowned pastor and film producer T.D. Jakes to have Murray's books produced into films for the network Lifetime. The first film, Lust, a 7 deadly sin story, premiered on Lifetime in April of 2021. Robinson and Jakes have continued a great partnership with Victoria to have each book in the 7 Deadly series produced for Lifetime. To learn more about Victoria Christopher Murray and her meteoric rise as a Christian writer and the recent 7 Deadly Sins series for Lifetime, please visit victoriachristophermurray.com.
Interludes. Original concept by Valerie Johnson. Written by Michael Womble. Produced by Michael Womble and Valerie Johnson. Original intro and outro music produced by Kendall Nesbitt. Interludes. A Peer Lighthouse production. This episode is brought to you by
Interludes Extra presents Find Your Voice on Patreon. See behind the scenes with Interludes, tips on how to become a podcaster, and merch featuring our Interludes logo. Become a friend, a fan, and join our VIP podcasting community today by visiting the website patreon.com/interludes. Become a future sponsor or advertiser on our podcasting platform by visiting our website today.
To subscribe to our YouTube channel or join Interludes Facebook group, visit the website linktree/peerlightmedia. That's linktr.ee/peerlightmedia.